Hi, I'm Jeff Newman, and the purpose of this video obviously is to give you what we call a good right hand technique, and it's to show you how you can do this thing no matter what technique you have now. A little word of warning, I suppose, from the front ought to be that the old technique is extremely hard to get rid of, and that's what you're going to be fighting more than anything. I would much rather take a student who had never learned anything about steel guitar and teach them right hand technique, because they're sort of fresh and they don't have anything to forget. If you've been left on your own and you've been out there trying to learn the right hand technique, and you've been trying to learn to mute and trying to get speed and all that stuff, and you've found trouble with it, there's a reason for that, and that's because you've picked up what felt comfortable to you with the right hand technique, and probably it's hurt you in one area like tone or in speed or in your ability to mute, and there's a reason for that. It's the shape of the hand that you pick up. The natural thing is to do it wrong for some reason, and that's the thing that's the hard thing to get rid of after you've learned it that way. So give yourself some time to get rid of the old before you give up on the new here. We're going to take some very simple, real easy little ideas and how you can get the shape first. And that's what we're talking about. The secret to the whole hand is the shape that you get, and everything else like the tone of your guitar and the tone you've been looking for with all this guitar and amplifier settings. It's all in the right hand and the way you touch with the right hand. And the speed you've been looking for is all in the shape of the hand and how the fingers approach the strings. And obviously the dexterity that you get and the ability to mute the strings and the ability to either pick lock or mute with the palm. All these things come down to one thing, and that's the right hand technique and where your hand hits and how it looks. So we're going to take some very easy things here at first. And it takes time to change. Keep that in mind. It takes more than one day, it takes more than 2 weeks because of the old forgetting of the old problem more than anything. So give it time before you give up too soon. We're going to come right back here in a minute, and we're going to take some very simple little single note, single string things, and we're going to work along with rhythm tracks to kind of give you the idea of how to do this thing sort of under pressure so you get the new one. One word of caution in your practice, let's say that. You're going to practice every day. And probably what you're going to find is that when you go back to practicing the old things you always play, you're going to go back to your old technique. And that's okay. Let that happen. Except every day, practice the new technique, and sooner or later, the new kind of takes over the old, and the old gets forgotten. So practicing is one thing, and playing is one thing, and learning the new technique is a totally different thing. Don't try to put them all together. It's just frustrating, and you don't get much out of it. Just let the new technique kind of grow on you. And it has to grow on you, because there are physical changes that we're looking to change here. So we're going to come right back here in a minute, and I'll show you how we can start working on this shape. And don't worry about how it feels. It's going to feel bad. We didn't say it's going to feel good. It's going to feel unnatural. But let that happen for a while, and gradually it'll grow on you, and it'll start feeling better too. And gradually the old one will start feeling bad, and you won't be able to believe that you ever did it that way before, and it was so bad, and it felt good. So we'll be right back here, and we'll take up some nice little single note muting ideas and getting the shape of the right hand going. All right, we're going to talk about the picks here and about how to wear them and about what kind of picks. Unfortunately, there's a very limited amount of choice of picks. You'll notice the picks I'm wearing here are really just a copy of the old National pick. These are the ones we make, but we don't care what you wear, as long as it's not a Dunlop pick, because of the wide front. Dunlop picks have a large flange here, and they almost create a bad technique, because if you wear a Dunlop pick the way you should here, the wide flange sticks out about that far, and as you put your finger down in the strings and picking the right thing, you'll find out that it catches the string in front right there every time. It'll get underneath that lip there, and it'll cause you problems, so it forces you into a bad technique. So we don't recommend Dunlop picks for that reason, and another reason is they come in gauges, and gauges are not a good idea either. You want a good, thick, heavy pick. This pick here is a copy of the old National. And this is what we call JF picks. We've got these. We make them because it was hard to get Nationals, but Nationals are fine too. And if you've got any old set of Nationals, they look just like these, except they got round holes, not the diamond holes in there. So you don't want a thin pick like a 15,000 or an 18,000. These are about 26 or 28, and they don't come any other gauge. The Nationals all came this gauge too, and they're a better pick because they're heavier. They give you a better technique. Let's put it that way. Notice where I'm wearing the pick. It's right to the back of my fingernail. Not too far back, just right to the fingernail. If you wear it too far back on your finger, you find out you don't have any blades sticking out up there that you can operate with. And you can see I've got quite a bit of blade sticking out above. It's above my fingernail, And if I show it to you from the very front, you see there's quite a bit up there. Notice the bend, how it's nice and curled up. It's not straight up off my finger, and it's not straight out this way, and it's not straight up here. It's just a nice little curl like that. Also, a lot of people don't like national picks because they come with a very strange bend in them. If you take this pick, or national picks, whatever, take you a pair of needle nose pliers and bend them around so they look like your fingers. A lot of times a national pick will be bent way up here and in all kinds of shapes, and people don't like them because they feel uncomfortable. Of course they do. They're not bent to your finger there, but you can change that. So take a pair of pliers and make them look like that and bend them down to where they fit your finger like that. Of course, the Dunlop pick is nice and comfortable, and that's why a lot of people wear it. It's because it comes pre-bent and it's easy to wear for a long time. But it has its own disadvantages too, as we spoke about there. So, get your set of picks. If you've got an old set of nationals, dig them out, clean them up, bend them up, or we can get you a set of these. This is what we call the JF pick, and we can get them to you if you don't have them. But even if you're stuck with whatever pick you have, make the best of it and wear it about like this and get the bend about like this. You'll see different ways of wearing them, of course, but this is about the average way of doing it. All right, we're going to come right back, and we're going to take up some ideas about how to use this pick and get the right shape going. All right, let's work on a real simple little idea that'll give us a simple way of learning this shape. You'll notice that what I've done is taken a pencil and I've drawn a pencil line from there. There's a little crease line that runs down really from your first and second finger right off the edge of your hand. And this is a little indicator if you want to use that way. We're going to work with just the first string. So I've drawn the crease line, and I want to put the crease line right down on the first string right there. And you'll notice something, that I've put my hand in front of the pickup. So here's the pickup right here. And I've got my hand running right exactly parallel to that pickup. I don't have it angled this way, and I don't have it any other way. I've got my elbow in nice and tight to my body, so it's coming straight in, straight across the guitar, right straight along the edge of that pickup. And I've got the crease line running right down on the first string. So my hand is down good and hard on the strings here. And this will teach us one thing, and that's the shape of the hand and how to use the fingers. This is a good exercise because it's very simple, let's put it that way. We're not going to let anything ring here. We've got our hand down good and hard. And here's what we want. We want to have the crease line down, and this forces us well forward, as you can see. Now, the average player will not have his hand that far forward. He'll just have his hand back here like this, and as he goes for the first string, you'll have to flatten your hand out, and maybe 95 out of 100 players will have this shape. You'll see a lot of guys playing with a shape with the top of their hand flat right there. This is a definite no-no. We've got to get rid of this thing, and this is the one that probably feels good to you, unfortunately. This is what's going to get you in trouble, because when you play like this, you have to move your hand up to play any note, and your fingers can't bend because they're already bent all they can be. You'll notice that the picks, look how your picks are right curled in too tight, right in there. Everything is bent too tight. You can't do anything. So we move our hand forward with that crease line on the first string. This is the good way of just getting the feel, let's say. Crease line on the first string, hand as high as you can get it. Notice how high my hand is. I don't have it out flat. I've got it as vertical as I can get it. I've got this peak knuckle up here, way up there, and what I'm doing is reaching out for the first string. Notice what that does. That makes this finger right here come in on an angle. It doesn't come in straight. A lot of people look at the picks and they say, well, they're pointed right there. Surely that's the way you're supposed to play, with the pick right off the tip. Not true. What we want to do is angle this hand like this and get the angle of the finger to come in. And what we're going to end up, we end up playing right off of that edge right there. Not off the tip, right off the edge. And this is a fatter sound. If you play off the edge, you get a much bigger sound than off the tip. It's a lot of difference in tone. So tone is going to improve just by getting off of the edge of the pick. So here's what we're after. This angle back here, at this angle here is nice, about the same angle. Notice how this thing is nice and curled. Notice how it's curled across here like this. So we've got the crease line down, and we're not going to pick it up. We're not going to let anything fly. What we want to do is just play the first string and get a sput sound. But as we play it, notice something. This knuckle up here is dead still. My hand back here is dead still. The only thing that moves is this knuckle and the finger from there down. So I've got to teach this hand and these fingers to separate themselves. The hand is the base. All of this is the base. So I'm going to play, and I'm going to let my first finger sort of just follow my second finger. It's not playing anything. Notice where my little finger is, too. It could be straight out. If you want to play it straight out, that's fine. If you want to curl it under, that's fine. But don't get it too far under, because that gets in the way. You don't want to get it underneath the crease line. So let it be natural. Just sort of relax the hand, get this nice and high, and practice getting that little sput sound right there. Now, notice when you play the thumb on the first string, the same way. You can play the thumb, and all the action or the movement comes from this knuckle out. Notice that the thumb is square to the string. It's not coming in at an angle like that. I'm not digging at the string. I've got my thumb curled back. This is why it's going to take a while to learn this technique. You actually have to build muscles in your thumb that'll teach your thumb to come back. You have to build muscles in your fingers that'll teach your fingers how to play and pick up. Notice that with this shape, when you play the note, the pick comes up inside the hand right here. That's what we want. If you play out flat-handed, there's nowhere for that finger to go, and you have to move your hand. That's what gets you in trouble with speed if you play flat-handed. It has to come back this way. So what we want to do is just practice a very simple technique. The crease line on the first string, and we want to just play that and then that. Back and forth, thumb, finger, thumb, finger. But as you do it, watch what happens right there. You can go fast or you can go slow. It doesn't really matter. The trick is to find out how this feels. If you've been out to the old flat hand, gradually work it up, work it up, work it up until it gets round. Notice how kind of an egg shape we get right in here so that this thing has somewhere to go. So we play that little technique right there. No movement. The peak knuckle is the secret to everything. That's the speed. That's the dexterity. The hand is still and the fingers move. So before we go any farther, you stop right here and see how yours looks. Go along with me if you have to. And notice the bend is right here. Notice how big the bend is right here. It's not flat. It's bent this way. Notice that the thumb operates on its own. And it really doesn't matter what shape your hand is. I've heard every excuse in the world. Guys say, gee, my fingers aren't long like yours. My hand won't do that. Yes, it will. If you've had a bad technique, you'd like to have that excuse, I'm sure, but it won't work. It doesn't matter whether you got big fingers, small fingers, short fingers, ugly fingers, pretty fingers. They all do the same thing. They will get this technique. So relax, work on this a little every day. If you get uptight, it's harder. So relax and do it. We're going to come right back here in a minute now, and we're going to try some little simple exercises that work real simple along with a drum track. That'll get us playing this idea and doing it in time and in some little patterns that we can actually use. All right, we'll be right back. All right, let's take a little exercise along with the exercise number 1 on your rhythm track. And we're just going to take a simple idea, again, using that crease line there on the first string. And we just want to take a finger, and make it spit. Again, we're watching the first knuckle. We're making sure that doesn't move. We just want to go finger, finger, and a thumb, thumb the same way. So we're going to practice finger, finger, thumb, thumb, because there are many licks and phrases that we'll play later all the time that use this kind of a picking pattern. So you practice finger, finger, thumb, thumb, finger, finger, thumb, thumb. And the rhythm track will be like a 1, 2, 3, 4. We go finger, finger, thumb, thumb, finger, finger, thumb, thumb. And notice we're not letting it ring. We just want to get the idea of how it feels to do this exactly in time. Then we might go to like a finger, finger, thumb, finger, finger, thumb, because there are a lot of licks that do that. So we need to practice the feel of that. Finger, finger, thumb, finger, finger, thumb. Then we might change it to go thumb, finger, finger, thumb, finger, finger, thumb, finger, finger. And of course we might go just back and forth to thumb and finger, because that's a normal style of picking, but we want to mix it up. So cue up track number 1 on your rhythm track. And let's do this right in time, and then we'll get into simple picking. We want to mix it up. So cue up track ring, but establish what this feels like first. Finger, finger, thumb, thumb, finger, finger, thumb, thumb, finger, finger, thumb, thumb. All the time, watch that peak knuckle right there. It's dead still. Notice nothing's ringing. If you've got some noise coming out other than spit, spit, find out why. The crease line should be right down on the first string. Finger, finger, thumb, thumb, finger. Notice how dead still the hand is, just the fingers moving. Now play hard. Put some muscle into this thing because you're trying to develop muscle tone all up through your thumb. Finger, finger, thumb, thumb. Finger, finger, thumb, thumb. Finger, finger, thumb, thumb. Okay, let's change this around and let's go 2 fingers and a thumb. Finger, finger, 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 thumb. Right in time. Let the fingers just fly down in that hole. Hold it down hard. Let's go to thumb, thumb, finger. Thumb, thumb, finger. Thumb, thumb, finger. Thumb, thumb, finger. Play it hard. Don't let your hand go out flat. And this will start hurting after a while. You'll notice that you start getting a burning up in your hand. Let's go to straight thumb, finger, thumb, finger, thumb, finger, thumb, finger, thumb, finger. All right, let's go back to finger, finger, thumb. Finger, finger, thumb, thumb. Finger, finger, thumb, thumb. And that's the end of track number 1. Now, let's take the same idea and let's practice the muting. Let's find out how this actually works. Of course, if you had trouble with the last exercise, stop right here. But if you can do this, let's take it one step farther. Again, the crease line right on the first string. There it goes right there, the crease line, just a hair in front of it. Hold it down there. And what we want to do is play the note. This is where it gets tough. We're going to play the note and bend our finger. But as we bend our finger, we come up and we get this sound. Notice that the hand only comes up just a hair. It just barely comes off the strings. Notice right back in there. It's not much. If I come a long ways, it makes a lot of difference. But I just want to barely move. So I'm playing the note, and then I'm coming back with my hand. But as I come back down, I'm coming back with my finger bent inside. I'm not coming back with my finger on the note. I'm not getting that sound. A lot of people, that's what we call pick blocking, and that's not a good way of doing it right there. But you get a chink sound. That's not what we're after here. We're trying to bend and mute with the hand on the right edge, but I'm coming down with the finger inside. And I'm not letting my hand roll this way. We're not trying to go like this. We're trying to come up exactly level. Notice how the hand never changes its angle left or right. The finger bends, but it never rolls out that way. It's perfectly level. It doesn't roll this way. I'm not letting it come back this way. I'm letting the whole hand, everything, really from all the way back here, everything leaves the guitar. Straight up, it doesn't roll, it doesn't tilt. Straight up and down. That's the secret, is that nothing changes shape. The only thing that moves is from this knuckle right there out. Same with the thumb. Now, if you're getting this sound, that's just a little timing problem. That'll go away with practice. And if you're getting a kind of a strange little shinky sound in there, that's okay. Practice. Notice how nothing changes. It's like it was right there doing that, only I'm just barely lifting. There's no roll. I'm not doing that. If you've got that going, you're in trouble. So the idea is, don't let the hand be out. Don't try doing it this way. That won't work. It's like this. And the thumb the same way. So let's practice with a rhythm track. Let's see if we can't get a finger going. And then a thumb. You have to practice both. You'll probably find that the thumb is harder to do than the finger is for some reason. And if you get a spit or a chink sound once in a while, that's okay too. But the idea is, let's go finger, thumb, finger, thumb. And it's a real gentle little jump, but we don't want to go. There's two ways we can approach this thing. We can attack it or we can play it. This is an attack. We're not trying to leap on it or jump on it. All we want to do is play the note, let it ring, and cut it off. So let it be a long note. Or we can go, and there's a lot of silence. We don't want that. A lot of difference in the coordination between jumping on it and this. Notice when my finger comes back. It's after I've touched the string. Now, along with the rhythm track number 1, so you can hear what it sounds like here, let's just use the second finger first, because concentrating on one thing at a time is enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finger. Notice the crease line hitting right with the drum beat. Nice long notes. Crease line never moves back. Now let's go to the thumb. This is tougher. And you might get a spit once in a while, but that's okay. This one will wear your arm out quicker. Now let's go back and forth between finger, finger, thumb, thumb. Finger, finger, thumb, thumb. Finger, finger, thumb, thumb. Relax as you do it. Watch the peak knuckle. What's yours doing? Is it staying straight up and down? Don't jump on it. Let them ring. Make sure you're muting back with the hand and not with the picks. Let's try finger, finger, thumb. Finger, finger, thumb. Finger, finger, thumb. Now let's go to a thumb, thumb, finger. Thumb, thumb, finger. Thumb, thumb, finger. Thumb, thumb, finger. Okay, that's about the end of the track there. Here's what we want to do. Get those things so they feel good. There's no sense in going any farther if you can't do this right here. This is the most important thing, is this shape right here. And as we go farther through this little exercise business, we're going to find out this shape stays the same. We might move down the strings, but the shape will never change. We'll do no more than change the position of the crease line as we change string positions. And that's the secret of everything. If you can do this right here, you can do only what we've done so far. You've got the magic formula for all the rest. But if you can't do this yet, you've got to stop right here, work on this until it starts feeling natural to you. All right, we'll be right back in just a second and take some other exercises. They're a little tougher, but if you've got this, they won't be so hard. Get your rhythm track number 2 out. It's a little faster drum beat is all. We're going to move down. We've been out here with the crease line on the first string. Let's move it down to the 4th string. Things change here. While you're out on the 1st string, you could kind of flail around, and that's nice to be able to do when you're first learning. But you need to learn to settle down what you're doing. So we're going to do what is an average thing, playing like the 4th string and the 5th. Now this means we take that crease line right there and we put it right there on the 4th string now, because that's the high note. We keep exactly the same shape. We've got ourselves in front of the pickup up here like this, and we've got our hands straight across. Nothing's changed except where we let the crease line connect with the strings. Let's practice a couple of little exercises we want to do along with the rhythm track number 2. First of all, I'm going to push my A and B pedals down, which gives me an A chord, because we're going to practice along with some A rhythm track here before we get done. So we might as well practice with the pedals down, both the A and B pedals, the A chord, let's say. But let's practice this. We're going to play the 4th string with the 2nd finger and let it cut off. So practice that, and then the 5th string with the thumb. Back and forth. And again, we just want to keep the crease line nice, and the crease line on the 4th string, and the peak knuckle nice and still. We might go back and forth, because the tempo of this thing is like a 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just going to work the 4th string and the 5th string, except for one thing. We want to practice moving the crease line because we have to move it. So we're going to put the crease line on the 4th string and play 4 and 5. And then we want to barely move down and put the crease line right on the 5th string and play 5 and 6. So this little exercise is a matter of going 4 to 5, and then quickly down to 5 and 6. So really you end up playing the same string twice, the 5th string, but one time it's done with the thumb, and then the finger. So we're going to go. Now you don't want to get this effect. Playing the notes is not important as cutting them off. So we want to go pick, mute, move down. So in slow motion, that's it. But we want it to sound like this. Then quickly move up. So what we're doing is learning to move our hand ever so slightly, the crease line jumping from 4 to 5 to 4 to 5, back and forth. It's a little timing and dexterity exercise. Back and forth. We'll call this number 1, I suppose. Exercise number 1. And what will get you confused is that you're going to hit the same note twice and you're having to move down. Notice the shape of my hand never changes, just where it hits the strings. Kind of relaxes as you do it. Now let's use another little exercise. Since we do a lot of phrases that do this, that's why we're doing this. Well, we might go just back and forth on 4 and 5, or back and forth on 5 and 6. A lot of speed licks do that. But there are a lot of speed licks that involve 2 thumb notes. In fact is, we want to climb with thumb notes. So in using strings 6, 5, and 4, again, the crease line on the 4th string because that's the high note. Let's practice going the finger first on the top note, cut it off, and then the thumb on the 6th string, and cut it off, then the thumb again on the 5th string, and cut it off. So it's, and then again ending with the 4th string. So that's the exercise right there. So this is teaching you how to use that thumb twice in a row and how to use it in an ascending scale. Many, many phrases do this. So we'll use this. Let's call this exercise number 2. Now there's other ways that we use the thumb and the finger, especially in little speed and single note things. Sometimes we'll use 2 fingers in a row. So this time, let's use the finger on the 4th string again, then again the thumb on the 6th, but let's come up with the finger on the 5th string, and again the finger on the 4th string. So all we're doing is swapping. Instead of going, we're going 2 fingers in a row. But really it's going to end up 3 because we start again with the finger. So it goes, and start again, and again. So let's call this exercise number 3. So number 1 went, number 2 goes, 2 thumbs, number 3 uses 2 fingers. So we go in and out. We play this one, and then number 2, then number 3. And we do it all in time with rhythm track number 2. Here it is. 1, 2, 1. Number 1. 4. Let's go to number 2 now. Now let's mix them up. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 1. That right there teaches us all the things we want to know. Just the fact of playing and swapping to the same string. We play 2 thumb notes, we play 2 finger notes. These are most important when it comes to playing single note scales. If you find one of these, like maybe the double thumb stop, if that's hard for you, that's the one that's your Achilles heel. You need to really work on the 2 thumbs. If you find the one that goes the 2 fingers in a row, if that one's tough for you, work on that one the most, because that's the one that's getting to you the most. If there's certain phrases or scales you can't play right now, especially if you're a more accomplished player, this is why you've never learned the basic rudiments or the fundamentals of 2 thumb notes or 2 finger notes, or just swapping and being able to play the same note like that. So get these things before we go any farther. We're going to come right back here in a minute, and we're going to play along with an A rhythm or like a chord vamp, and practice some actual little scale things that are a lot of fun. But these things get a little bit tougher, but they're all the same idea. It's where that crease line is, so pay real close attention to this peak knuckle and where that crease line hits. There are some real fundamental things that we need to learn about double stops or harmony notes. There's a definite technique to it. A lot of people never bother to learn them, and that's why we're doing it right here, because these are the things that need to make you a good player or a bad player, I suppose. We use a lot of 2 finger notes like this, and learning to play the 2 fingers together is most important, and learning to play 2 notes together using the thumb and the 2nd finger are very important too. A lot of people never think about playing 2 notes together like the 4th and the 5th string, like this. They always seem to play like this, but there's a definite advantage to playing with the thumb and the 2nd finger. Notice that we play a lot of strings that are close together with the thumb and the 2nd finger, and the 2 have to pass each other. So you have to get your thumb out to the left quite a bit so the 2 will cross as you come down. So it's like snapping your fingers. They actually pass each other. So that's why we actually learn to get this thumb way out to the left, because it has its own route of travel, and it's always in front of that 2nd finger. There are several little stops we need to practice with the track number 3, which is the A chord rhythm vamp, I suppose. And we want to practice playing just the 3rd and 5th string, because that's a very common thing. Again, the crease line goes right on the 3rd string. Practice just playing, maybe with the hand down for a minute, just strings 3 and 5, 3rd and 5th string. Watch the crease line. Don't let it jump around. Just those 2. And then practice coming up. Make sure that they sound exactly the same. One's not louder than the other. These are very fundamental, but they're very important. Practice that. Notice how far out in front the thumb is when I'm doing that. And it's passing. Then come down and play strings 4 and 5. Notice I'm not doing it this way. I'm doing it with the thumb and the 2nd finger. Then 5 and 6. And then 6 and 8. Kind of a strange sound, but do it anyway. It's pedals down, it's an A chord. So thumb and finger using 3 and 5, 4 and 5, 5 and 6, 6 and 8. So we can just really play along with the rhythm track, because it's a nice slow thing, just a few of the 3 and 5s. Then we need to practice using what we normally do, like for chord work, is the 1st and 2nd finger. And I remember when I was first learning to play, that was one of the hardest things in the world there was to do, was to get these 2 fingers to pull off the same, so that I got 2 harmony notes to come out exactly the same, because one always seemed to be louder than the other. The idea is weld these 2 fingers together, make them work like this, touch them right in here, right at these 2 knuckles, get them to weld together so they both hit exactly the same. And then strings 5 and 6 the same way. Nothing changes, the crease line moves forward and back. But learn to bend those fingers, maybe play strings 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 5 and 6, and maybe just 5, 6, and 8, all 3, because this is a typical group. So 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 5 and 6. And what we're trying to do is play it and mute it, of course, but notice the technique. I'm still not rolling. A lot of people, when they get to this part here, they want to pick this up and play that way and then roll over. Let's try to get away from that if we can. Everything stays the same. Notice the crease line moves with the high note, that's all. So let's start with just the thumb and second finger, or 2 of each. And then let's go to the first and second finger, and then all 3 on the bottom. And this is with track number 3, the A rhythm vamp. 3rd and 5th string. Now let's move down, 4 and 5. 5 and 6. 6 and 8. Again from the top, 3 and 5. Crease line, went up to 3. 4 and 5, move down. 5 and 6, move down. 6 and 8, move down. Crease line moves with it. First and second finger, 3 and 4. 4 and 5. 5 and 6. 5, 6, and 8. Again, back up to 3 and 5, 3 and 4. Crease line is on 3. 4 and 5, move down. 5 and 6. 5, 6, and 8. All right, those things right there are very important. So get those things where you can get through them and get the basic fundamentals of how that feels. All right, we're going to come right back here in a minute. We'll have some fun. We're going to get into some nice single note scale things that actually get into a thumb and a finger, and we're actually going to get into crossing the thumb over. But get this far, or it'll be a lot tougher if you don't. Let's put it that way. So we'll be right back with some little single note thumb and second finger crossover ideas. If you're the kind of player that's having trouble with speed picking or single note playing, there's probably a very good reason for that, and that's because you don't know maybe some basic fundamentals about finger dexterity and thumb and second finger crossovers. There's a good way to practice this thing, and it's along with track number 3, the A rhythm vamp there, so you might as well cue up track number 3. Take the crease line, and let's start on the 3rd string with both pedals down, which gives us an A chord. We're just going to be with the A vamp, so we'll practice something in A. But put the crease line right on the 3rd string. So there it is. Come right in on the 3rd string. But let's start. This is a little 4-note phrase that is nice and repetitious, but it teaches a lot about speed playing and single note playing. We'll start with the crease line on the 3rd string, and we're going to play the 3rd string with the second finger and cut it off. Then we're going to go to the 5th string with the thumb and cut it off. Then we're going to come to the 4th string and play it, but with the finger, and then we're going to come over and hit the 3rd string with our thumb. So this little 4-note phrase goes finger, thumb, thumb. But you end up playing the finger one time on the 3rd string, and then the thumb down on the 5th, the finger on the 4th, and then over with the thumb and hit the 3rd. And then you start again with the finger on the same string. Now the trick is to cut every note off. If you just play, you're not learning anything. It's the mute that we're talking about and getting all this in coordination. So do it very slowly at first. And get the idea of how it feels to cross your thumb over that second finger. If you've never done it before, it's most awkward, and you say that can't be done. But that's most important for many, many speed scales that we'll be learning later in many scales that we play and many riffs that you hear everybody playing. They're using crossover notes. So let's call this exercise number 1. And we don't have to play it any faster than that right there. Right there. And then there's a second one that is a lot longer, but it's the same exact idea. It just starts lower. So let's take the same idea and let's go down to strings 6, 7, and 8. Notice the crease line is going to move right down to the 6th string. There it is. I'm going to put the crease line right on it. And I'm going to play exactly the same pattern, a thumb and a second finger crossover using strings 6, 7, and 8. And then as soon as I've played it one time, raise it up one string, move the crease line up to 7, and do the same thing on string 5. I'm sorry, the crease line goes to 5, to strings 5, 6, and 7. And then right up to the crease line on the 4th string, and do the same thing on strings 4, 5, and 6. And then move up one more. Now you're back to home base with the 3rd string and the crease line on the 3rd string, and finish it out with. So the whole thing is a little ascending roll. And that's the whole thing. And in all the time you're doing this, you'll see the crease line going from the 6th string up to the 5th, to the 4th, to the 3rd, as you do each individual roll. Notice the hand never changes its shape, it just changes the position that it hits. And in each case, the hand's jumping just minutely, and that old peak knuckle never changes. That's what we're after, but we're learning to move that thumb up and down. Let's call this exercise number 2. And then let's do a 3rd one, which is a little strange, but it's most important in a lot of things we play. Again, it's number 1, but it's got a little bit, 3 notes added to it. So here's exercise number 1. And after you've played that, reach out and hit the 1st string with your 2nd finger. Now you've got to move the crease line after you do that. And then back to the 4th string with your thumb. And then the 3rd string again with your 2nd finger. So we play the first 4 notes of exercise number 1. Reach out and hit the 2nd string. Cut it off. Thumb on the 4th. And then finger on the 3rd. So here's the whole exercise number 3. Again, if anything rings true, and the one that's going to get away from you is going to be that 1st string, because you're not moving your hand out to catch it. It'll probably sound like, be tough to get it out there, but that means you have to move. So move the hand out there and get that crease line working. And there's a 4th one we might work, because there's a lot of phrases where we have to back down the strings. And if you're not good with your thumb moving down the strings, you're probably going to have a lot of trouble with a lot of phrases. So this is a little practice in working back down the strings. You can't always cross over coming down. Many times you do. But we can go, again, using 3 basic group strings, like strings 3, 4, and 5. Hit the 3rd string, again, the crease line on the 3rd string, and then 2 thumb notes, hitting the 4th and 5th string with your thumb. And then come down with the finger on the 4th string, and then the next 2 notes with your thumb. And then come down and hit the finger on the 5th string, and then the 2 notes under that with the thumb. And then hit the 6th string with your finger, and then the 2 notes under that with your thumb. So it's teaching you to regress right down the string. Let's call this exercise number 4. So we have exercise number 1, which is just the 3, 4, and 5 string. And exercise number 2 is climbing up the strings, starting with 6. Exercise number 3, using the 1st string. And then exercise number 4 is the little double thumb stop. Little thumb stop. So maybe number 2 and 4 together, because number 2 climbs up. And then coming down. And then back up. And then back down. All right, let's do this along with rhythm track number 3, which is just the A chord rhythm vamp, starting with exercise number 1. That one right there. Remember, muted. We go number 1. Or number 2. Number 2 again. Or number 3. Again. 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 Or number 4. Again, number 4. Again. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. 4. All right, take those, get all 4 of them, because all these things teach you different things. If one of them is particularly hard for you, really work on that one, because that's the one that's giving you the most trouble in the phrases that you play. All right, we're going to come right back and take some other little things and maybe speed things up a little bit. It gets tougher, but it's a lot more fun, too. All right, cue up your last track on your cassette there. It's called All Hands, and this is a great little exercise. And it's got chord changes, but there's only one thing you have to know about it, and it's the pattern of the string group that we played. And this is all it is. We're using no pedals. It starts in an E chord, so we're going to have the sound of this. But the little phrase we want to play is a nice exercise for speed picking, and we can do it slow, and it's kind of nice to practice. It starts on the 9th string with no pedals, so this makes sort of like an E7 sound. But it starts with the thumb on the 9th string. So have your crease line down around the 8th or the 7th string, really, and then just hit the 9th string and cut it off. Then hit the thumb again on the 8th string, and then hit the finger on the 7th. So it's 2 thumbs and a finger. Then come over with your thumb and cross over and hit the 6th string, and then the finger on the 5th string. So that's all there is to it, is 2 thumbs and a finger and thumb crossover. So it goes 9th string, 8th string, 7th string, thumb over, hit the 6th string, and then the finger on the 5th. And all it does is climbs right 8 straight up from 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And it goes. Now the fingering is important, so let's get that. Now that's all there is to this song, is that little pattern of notes. And we add 3 notes on the end. It goes. Then quickly jump down and hit the 9th string, the 8th again, and then the 7th. So it goes. Now that's the whole song. That's all you need to know, is that pattern right there. Do it twice. And then we're going to use the same little pattern with the pedals down in A, but we're going to change the string we start with. So the pedals are down, it gives us an A chord. But we start with the 8th string and do exactly the same pattern, going 8, thumb again on the 8th, thumb on the 7th, finger on the 6th, cross over with the thumb and hit the 5th, and then end up on the 4th string this time with a finger. So it goes. And then add the little 3 ending notes, 8, 7, 6. So it goes. Then it goes back to E again, and we start with the 9th string. Pedals off. And then twice with the pedals down, A, but start with the 8th string. Then we're going to change things up here. We're going to use the bar. Throw the bar down on the 5th fret, and we're going to start with pedals up, but we start with the 9th string. Same thing. Twice. Now just push the pedals down right there, and it gives us a D. We're going to start with the 8th string, and we'll go up just one time. And then it goes to a B chord, so I'm going to take the bar to the 7th fret, no pedals, and start with the 9th string. Just one time. And then it goes, no bar again, down to E, so we take the bar off and start with the 9th string. Same thing twice. And end with no bar, pedals down with open, but start with the 8th string. Twice. So the whole song is nothing but this little pattern. Start with E twice, A twice, E, pedals off, start with 9, A, start with 8th string. Then we put the bar on 5 and start with the 9th string. Pedals down, start with the 8th string. One time though. Quickly to 7, start with the 9th string, no pedals, and only one time. And then open, no pedals. And twice with A, start with the 8th string. Now it has 3 pickups because the band's going to go, and you go. So here it is. This is all hands along with the rhythm track. It's your last track on there. Wait for the pickup notes. Here we go. Pedals. No pedals. Pedals down. Bar on the 5th fret. Pedals down. 7. Open. Pedals down. From the top, open. Pedals down. Pedals off. Pedals down. Bar on the 5th fret. Pedals down. 7. No pedal. Open. That's it. That's a real nice little tune that you can play. Of course, this is sort of a way to creep up on it. This is what I call slow motion. If we speed that up a little bit, along with the same little track, we get this sound. Instead of going, here we go, like a syncopated beat, we get something that's a lot more interesting, and it's a whole lot better on the right hand. If you're a brand new player, I wouldn't try this, but if you're a player that's having trouble with speed picking, this is a good way to learn some new licks. So it's twice through, and then add the 3 notes. So the syncopation takes more notes. Instead of going, go twice as fast, and then twice again, and then do the same thing in A, starting on the 8th string. Then the E open. A. Then go to 5 and start on the 9th string. Then pedals down right there for a D and start on the 8th string. Go to the 7th fret, start on the 9th string, no pedals. And then start open, 9th string again. And then start with end with the pedals down, starting with the 8th string. So here it is. Let's listen to it. Now this is syncopated, so you have to listen to how this thing sounds. The thing actually comes back with a very strange oddball beat, because you end with the. Here we go. Fifth fret. Pedals. 7. Open. From the top. Open. A. Fifth. Pedals. 7. Open. So that little tune will really work you to death, because it gives you, don't get any breaks, and you have to do a lot of thumb, a lot of thumb and second finger crossover. It's a lot of fun. We'll come right back and we'll put a new wrinkle in this, and if you think this was hard, the next one will really get you into trouble. Let's keep the same riff we just did, but let's add one thing to it. Let's start again with that 9th string open, and that gets us up to the 5th string. This time let's descend back down, and this is a very common type of descending run you'll have to learn anyway. Start with the finger on the 5th string, then the finger on the 6th string, and then the thumb on the 7th, cross under with the finger and hit the 8th, and then the thumb on the 9th. So it's a little descending, finger, finger, thumb, finger, thumb. So we'll go up, and then down, and then add the 3 little notes we had before. And that's the whole song. We'll do exactly that riff to every position. And then the pedals down, and so forth. So here we go. All hands down this time, same rhythm track. E open, start with the 9th string. So forth. And that's all we need to do is just take that new idea and the little riff there. These things are not easy, but they're not all that hard either, and they're great exercise. Learning anything new is not easy, and it does take time, and frustration will probably be the first thing that'll get you. Remember, you're trying to unlearn old bad habits. The new ones are a lot of fun, though, once you pick them up. The main thing is this thing comes to you all at one time. It doesn't grow on you like a day at a time. You might work 2 or 3 weeks, and all of a sudden this thing bombs in on you. So don't get discouraged if you don't see steady progress. If you see something happen in a month or so, you'll be lucky. The main thing is don't get discouraged over the whole thing, and don't look for gradual things. That's about it. If you can get this far, you can probably do almost any lick, any riff you want to. The main thing is we've got the right fundamentals. All right, we'll see you the next time.